Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to our 32nd, I believe, Platform Academy in this setting. Thank you, everybody, for joining us and making it across the daylight saving time hump. That out of the way, I am very glad today to be joined by my three colleagues from our product success team. And just a quick shout out before we head into things. I love that all of you have the knowledge background. So for everybody who has not signed up yet or is not joining us as a speaker at CreatorCon on Knowledge, be sure to make sure if there's budget and you can travel to come join us in Las Vegas, May 14th through 18th this year. We'll have our first big in-person Knowledge again since the pandemic started. And I'm so excited to be there. Hope to see all of you there. I will be doing sessions about pattern playbooks and also flows, workflows, decisions, all these good topics. And before we head too far into it, I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Lisa Hohenstein. I'm an outbound product manager for the Now platform. My main focus, as you may have guessed from the topics that I cover at Knowledge, is workflow automation. So I am very happy to have you all here. I'll hand over the introductions to Paige.
Hello, Paige Duffy. As Lisa stated, I am a product success manager here at ServiceNow. I primarily work in the creator workflow space, but we often cross lines between kind of the side I work on and the side that Jarod and Miguel work on for platform. Plus, I just really like to talk about upgrades. In fact, if you Google me, you will find a session from last year that I did at Knowledge on upgrades. So it's just a passion topic of mine. Yeah, I will go ahead and turn it over to whoever is next. I don't actually know which of you are next, so
let's go with Miguel.
Hey, it's me again, Miguel Deneri. Like Paige, I am also a product success manager. I'm part of her team, but my area is more of the platform. Happy to be here again, and thank you for your time. Appreciate you coming out here and spending time with us.
Awesome. And Jarod.
Hey, I'm Jarod Munt, another product success manager here on the platform team. So looking forward to talking about one of the newer additions in the platform suite upgrade plans here today.
You've probably, hopefully all seen this before. Since we're talking about upgrades, we may be talking about coming features in future releases of ServiceNow on the Now platform. And just to be sure, if we do make any forward-looking statements, please don't make any purchasing decisions based on them. Yes, so this session is part of a webinar series. This Platform Academy runs every other week. We usually cover platform topics, workflow topics, and all kinds of things that are relevant to developers and admins. We are part of a larger set of academies, though. So if you follow that link that you also followed to come here, there are other academies led by my amazing colleagues covering Next Experience, mobile, virtual agent, conversational interfaces, AI, platform analytics, and all kinds of other amazing topics. So be sure to check their academies out as well. So with that, I will hand this session over to my lovely co-hosts.
Yeah, thank you. Today we'll talk a little bit about what upgrades have looked like historically and what some of the problems that upgrade plans are here to solve. Go over some of the components of upgrade plans, the order of operations, how you can get it set up in your environment, and then also go over some of the frequently asked questions that we've seen out there in the world so far on this topic. And then once we get past all of that, if there's something still specific to your particular use case, we'll have a couple of slides at the end for Q&A, and let's take a look into some of the history and how upgrades have worked in the past.
Alrighty, so we're starting with kind of a basic timeline. There are a variety of versions of this out in the ServiceNow ecosystem, but this is just kind of your simple, dev to test to prod timeline. It should be pretty recognizable. You should really always start with reviewing the release notes. Some of these points change with the upgrade plans. That particular one does not. Next, make sure that you clone down your production instance over to your dev instance before you start this process. You will see an asterisk there, and we'll cover it a little bit more on the next slide, but that should be a full audit, it should include all of your audit data and all of your attachments from your production instance. You basically want that instance to be as close to production as you could possibly get it. Then kind of the normal, upgrade your dev environment, do your review of skipped records. I will be honest, when I started this, which was 13 years ago now, we did not do that. We did not know we were supposed to do that. There's not a lot of documentation out there. So don't forget that, because otherwise you're three versions away and you have a ton of them and things aren't working properly. So
fun fact, I did that, but I had very, very few UAT testers in my company.
I've had that too. I was the UAT. All right, so we review those in this timeline, in kind of the upgrades past, the upgrades that we've done up until this point. When you're reviewing those, you're doing that review in an update set. Those reviews are captured within the update set. Any changes that you make are captured within the update set. Typically, you've got probably 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 update sets. Hopefully, update set batching and you're batching them all together, but you have an update set for each scope that you're touching. So you have a lot of them. Then you kind of move on to the next step. You clone down to your next non-prods. You move those update sets up. You review just to make sure that, once again, you don't have any additional skipped records. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you're not doing anything in those non-prods that isn't coming up from dev, but it happens. And then once that's all done, you start doing your normal UAT. Hopefully you have people to do testing, and your automated testing. From there, we repair any defects. Usually you're doing that down in your dev environment and promoting it up again. And then you start scheduling your production upgrade. Update your production instance, and then of course move all of your skipped record update sets and your defect update sets into production. I did not include it on this because it feels like it didn't belong, but also somewhere in there you're communicating all of this with your stakeholders and your business. So
no communication. That's crazy.
Yeah, you don't want them to walk in and be like, why does everything look different?
Especially for that San Diego upgrade when you're going to next experience at some point.
Yeah.
Good idea to communicate that.
So that was kind of the upgrades past timeline. This is more just recommended practices. I'll be honest, most of these practices, they will still be valid, just as valid if you're using upgrade plans as they are today. And a lot of these are things that I have learned over my many upgrades. So first off, try to resist the urge to activate new plugins or applications as part of your upgrade. I know we all want the new shiny things. When you're getting that new instance and you want to play with the new things, try not to do that. This helps to reduce the risk of defects, and then it really allows you to focus on delivering that nice upgrade experience. So you're not cluttering things up with additional stuff. You're just focusing on your upgrade. And then that kind of leads into the next one, which is split your regular release from your upgrade. So at the same time that you're not activating a bunch of new plugins, don't throw a whole bunch of new stuff into production too while you're doing your upgrade. Wait a couple days. Even a couple of days will give you a little bit of leeway and help you ensure that the defects you're getting in are actually related to the upgrade. And it makes a much smoother experience. This kind of leads back to something I mentioned in the last slide, but clone prod to subprod just prior. Oh, no, sorry. That's a different one. But if you can, and I do realize that this is a nice to have and not every customer can do it, but if you can, clone your production instance down to your sub-production instance just prior to your upgrade. Not everyone has an instance that they can leave sitting there for 2 weeks with an old version of their production on it. But it's really nice to have. So if you have someone that reports an issue in your production instance, you can go back and look at your sub-production instance and see whether or not that issue existed in that sub-production pre-upgrade version of the instance. And it really helps you to kind of figure out what issues were caused by the upgrade and what issues are just issues. Doesn't change that you need to fix it, but it might change how you prioritize it, and it changes the perception of the upgrade for your audience, for your users. And then the last one is using the upgrade of your dev instance to make kind of an educated estimation of how long your upgrade is going to take. So since you did that clone that I apparently forgot to put on this list, but we mentioned in the last slide, but since you did that clone down that had all the audit data and all the attachments, and it was as close to production as you can get for a clone, when you upgrade it, it should be fairly similar to how long it's going to take to upgrade your production instance. And for me, I have found that this has been a really useful way to go, why is my upgrade suddenly taking 6 hours when in the past it's taken 3? That changes my change window that I have to put in. It changes a lot of stuff that I have to worry about. But it also gave me an opportunity to look for ways to shorten that upgrade. Okay, so now I know it's taking 6 hours. Why is it taking 6 hours? And I was able to use the upgrade monitor. There's some stuff down at the bottom where you can kind of see, you know, how long different plugins took to activate or upgrade as part of that plugin. And you can even potentially go ahead and do some of those things well before your upgrade to shorten your upgrade window. I was able to do that to go again from like a 6-hour upgrade to closer to a 3-hour upgrade, which is what we were used to. Let's move into upgrade plans, which I believe, Miguel, you're going to take us through.
I am taking this. All right. So what is an upgrade plan, right? So an upgrade plan, something new that came out in Tokyo, but nobody's really had a chance to use it yet because obviously Tokyo, Utah. So Utah's coming out. So we want to cover this real quick. All right. So basically, what is an upgrade, or what it is and what it does for you? So the best way I can describe what it is, upgrade plan reduces the human error component upgrades, right? So it's really just the consistency of the deployment, right? So upgrade plans, right? What they do is they capture all your post upgrade tasks, your any changes you make to your skip records, like you're fixing them, any plugins you have to turn on as part of the upgrade, it captures that. Any changes you do to your custom applications or your custom store apps, right? There's customization to your store apps. So it basically captures all those for you, all those tasking and changing, and then it capsulizes them. And it makes that deployment to your other instances a lot better. The upgrade plan components, right? So it's components of the upgrade plan. So the ones we want to highlight the most is the app repo. Upgrade plan is really tied to app repo. It's dependent on app repo. So you need app repo for this to work. You have a builder instance, which we'll go into a little bit more detail what that means. You have the consumer instances, the upgrade plan, and the plan items, right? So the builder instance is the designated dev for your upgrades, right? It doesn't mean that it has to be a dev instance. It can be any instance you want to do for development of your upgrades. And I've seen a lot of customers have a regular dev instance where you're continually doing your devs, and then you have a clone of your prod, and you're fixing your upgrades there, right? And then or clone the latest version of whatever it is. But there's always like 2 development instances. So whatever you decide your development instance is, that's going to be your designated build developer. And we'll teach you how to set that in there, your system property. But one caveat I want to mention here is that once you designate that to be your builder, you're kind of stuck with it, right? You can't really change that. And if you want to change it, you have to put a high support ticket. And basically what your builder does is it builds it and it publishes that upgrade plan, right? So it tracks all the changes you do. It creates that upgrade plan, it builds it, and then it publishes it to the app repo. Your consumer instance, right? You can have more than one consumer instance, and that's just the people consuming the upgrade plan, or your instances consuming the upgrade plan, right? So it's going to retrieve the update plan, it's going to process it for you in the background. It's going to go ahead and apply those changes. And resolve, like it'll show you, right? So to resolve those things. So those are the kind of key concepts you want to look at. Now, when it comes to the upgrade plan and upgrade plan items, this is really more of how you track things like an app repo thing. So when you go to app repo, you'll see these in there. And it's kind of like a hierarchy system, right? So you have a one upgrade plan for all your changes, and you're only allowed one per version or patch, right? So if you have Utah patch 0, right, the first Utah release, you're only going to see that upgrade plan for Utah, right? And you can make another one. It's only one, and it'll block it off. Later on, when we walk you through it, there's a little button that says build. It kind of grays it out, so you can only have one. Say you have Utah patch 1, it'll come out with another one, right? So you can have another repo for that. And then under that, to upgrade items, and those are where your changes get captured in. And there's kind of a layout what it looks like on the screen, so you can kind of see what it looks like on real time.
All right, so the flow of operations after this is all configured. So we've simplified the various steps on this flow, and so we'll start at the top left and we'll go down over to the right and then back up. So we will first upgrade. In this case, it's our dev instance that is marked as the builder. We will upgrade that to whatever release we're going to. In this example, use top patch 1. And then we'll go through that exercise of confirming the skips, reverting to out of box, whatever action we're going to take on those skipped records. If we do have any new features, new plugins, new store apps, or upgraded store apps, we can do that at this time as well. But as we mentioned earlier, it's probably better to move new functionality in a separate change window. After we get all of our things skipped and everything settled, we will build the upgrade plan from the upgrade plan console, and then hit publish, which will throw all those records over into your customer app repo. And then then this next process is the same, whether it's on test, QA, pre-prod, and then eventually prod, where we will go into that instance and install the upgrade plan from the repo. Then step number 7 is kind of a catch-all, where the system will do some processing of the upgrade plan that is tied in with step 8. So when we actually kick off the upgrade for, in this example, the test instance, we'll do the upgrade and also consume the various records inside of the upgrade plan. And then at the end of the day, we will have a very consistent way of processing that upgrade. All of the same steps will be run in all of the same order each time we run through this. Like Miguel said at the top of the show, we're taking some of that human error out of the equation and making it extra consistent.
You know, I just realized one thing before we move on, and I don't think we put it anywhere in the stack, but it is important that you can't do this unless you're currently on Tokyo.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
You have to be on Tokyo in order to use upgrade plans as you're upgrading to Utah.
It came out in Tokyo, so you absolutely need Tokyo. Yep.
So this release is actually our premiere, because
yeah,
when on Tokyo, you were already on Tokyo, so you couldn't use it for the upgrade to Tokyo, but it's available now. That's awesome.
Cool. Now let's get started. So what do we do to get this started? So the first thing you want to do is obviously locate it, right? So on Tokyo and above, it's going to be on your upgrade management center menu item. So it should pop up, upgrade plan. If it's not there, there is a plugin. It's called upgrade to customized. And you know, it should be out of there, where most of the time it's there, but if not, just check that plugin, make sure it's installed. All right, first thing you need to do, we talked about it earlier, is you need to designate your builder instance, right? And how you do that is in the same upgrade center, there's an administration, right, menu option, and then the property. In the property, all the way at the bottom, it should say upgrade plan properties, and then just switch it. So all you do is switch to build. But you got to keep in mind that the moment you set whatever instance it is to build, it's stuck on build, right? So if you made a mistake and you need to change it, you have to put a now support ticket in for them to go in there and change it for you. Now, this is a general overview, again, of the process. We're going to walk through each one of these steps, but just real quick, it's the same process that Jarod just went through, kind of simplified, right? The upgrade, the process of the skip records, the building the upgrade plan, and then the publish of the upgrade plan. And then you install it or you retrieve that upgrade plan. It processes it automatically, and then you upgrade your instance, right? And the last part you're going to do multiple times in your different instance. The top part you're going to do just once when you do the dev instance.
I am going to kind of walk you through what this process is like. I know we've shown you a diagram and we've shown you the steps, but now we're just going to kind of actually show you what that looks like. So step one is obviously to upgrade your dev instance. That is, as is normal. You should recognize this screen if you've ever done an upgrade before. Should not be surprising. Next, again, still perfectly normal. Go through and start processing your skipped records. Well, hopefully perfectly normal. This again is everything you've normally done. But this is where things start to change. So now we've not built any update sets. So I guess that part of the skipped records is technically different. You did not create any updates. That's when you started that process. Instead, after you're done with all of your skipped records, you're going to go to upgrade plan. And then you will click the button that says build. You can kind of see it right up there in red. You guys can't see my mouse circling around it, but it's the one that's in red that says build. And once you click that, you'll see the second screen where it's talking about, are you ready to publish your app? And then you click build upgrade plan. When that happens, that's when it's going to go create an app for your upgrade plan.
It's just the shell for it, right? So it's making that shell.
So this is actually inside your upgrade plan. When you go into that upgrade plan that you just created, you'll see the upgrade plan items at the bottom. Basically, you'll get an item for each scope. And that's each scope that you actually had something that you addressed within your skipped records. Yep. So as you can see here, we have data certification because we had made a change prior to our upgrade. When the upgrade came through, it showed that as a skipped record. We made a skip record. And so we got a new item for that skipped record.
I see something kind of cool on this page.
Yeah.
Was the export button that we see here. So we have publish, which sends all of these things into the app repo. But I want to call out that hidden kind of in plain sight export button before we move to the next slide.
Yeah. So it's a little misleading. When I first clicked it, I thought it was going to do something like, export it to an update set, kind of like you get with your apps. What it actually does is it exports a JSON file. And if you were to open that up, you would see a JSON package that's basically something you could use if you ever use Integration Hub. There's some spokes to install plugins. You could take that JSON package that it provides, and it's got all of the app information that you need here to actually install that automatically. So a little misleading, but kind of cool if you ever have the desire to do some sort of automation outside of what we provide.
Very cool. And I think that overlaps with the next slide that we're looking at here too.
Yes, where you actually go and install it. So once you've built that upgrade plan, you go and you click publish, which we kind of get past that, but there was an arrow. You go, you click publish, that actually publishes everything to the repo. I did want to make one point because you're right, Miguel, I misspoke. I said data certification was a skipped record. That is not, that is where we activated a plugin. Yep. And I believe we did mention that if you activate plugins while you're in this process, it will capture that activation in your upgrade plan. So for the people who like to, I don't know, upgrade their instance and turn on some plugins to play with them, but don't actually want them to go into prod yet, be aware.
Yep.
It will take that and it will move it with it.
Yeah, I just wanted to call it out, just know that it does get captured, but separately, right? So if you're worried about where's it at, it shows up separately.
But if you also want to upgrade your instance and upgrade CSM and SecOps and HRSD and everything else to the current versions and do a holistic test of all those updated versions, this will capture that and make sure that nothing is getting forgotten about on any test instance or production instance.
All right, go back to this one. Once you hit publish.
Once you hit publish, it goes to your repo. At this point, you go over to your sub-production instance that's next in your line. You have not upgraded the sub-production instance yet. It is still on the previous version, in this case, some sort of Tokyo. So you'll go into my company's applications, you'll find your upgrade plan. It'll look just like it does here, obviously with whatever patch and version you're upgrading to, and you will install it. And you want to make sure you do that before you ever upgrade the instance. But once you've done before. Yes, or there's some fancy automation that happens, but it has to be there in order for the automation to happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Or if you're using that CICD spoke and you want to virtually press this button with the API, you can take that exported JSON payload, load that into your CICD kit and push this button on all of your instances.
All right, so now that we have our upgrade plan installed in our next target instance, you can go to your upgrade preview, and that upgrade preview is going to show you your upgrade plan, as well as some information around the things that you've already skipped. And it generates this quite quickly because technically you've already done an upgrade and you've already got your upgrade plan, and it's feeding in that information. So if we then move to the next step, we're going to go upgrade our subprod. So now you're going to upgrade that subprod or prod instance. Once that upgrade is complete, it's going to actually automatically apply everything from your upgrade plan. So it's a little bit of a different process than what you're used to with your update sets, because you're applying that before your upgrade. But because you're applying it before your upgrade, it's automatically applying everything in your upgrade plan. You don't have to go hit any more buttons once the upgrade is complete. It can add a little time to your upgrade because it's doing those things extra on the end. So that's something to be aware of, but it's probably time that you would have taken anyway. It's just taking that manual piece out of it.
No more following a guide like deploy patch 1 before patch.
We had KB articles. Yeah, we had KB articles and releases that would tell us, what to do.
Yeah. Skip. Don't worry about this issue. Just skip it, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Maybe we can address some of the questions while we're heading into the FAQ part. We've had a good question in chat if the export functionality only is available via Integration Hub. As I understood you just now, is the export button will be there for anyone, but the JSON file that you get from it is only usable if you do have the CICD spoke, right?
Not necessarily. It's really just what the API needs. So you could use it technically outside of that spoke as long as you're connecting to the same API. It's expecting that same package.
Oh no.
Because you're within the same instance, it's not an Integration Hub thing because it's not an outbound call, right? And then we have something. Is there anything that is currently not captured by the app upgrade plan or app repo? Are you aware of any limitations?
Defects. So if in the middle of your testing, you find a defect and you go back and fix it, that is still something that you would have to manage with an update set.
Well, and that we have another question that is very similar to that, where regarding a defect push. And so if you are remediating that defect and promoting that fix through a scope or global scope that is being pushed to the app repo, then yes, the new version of that repo can be deployed as part of the upgrade plan. But if your current process for fixing defects is not involving a global scope or a scope in the app repo, if you're doing update sets, then yes, that would have to be a separate process outside of the upgrade plan.
Awesome, thank you.
All right. So keep sending in those questions to the Q&A console. We do have a couple preloaded ones that we have been hearing prior to this session. So the first ones, if a plugin gets captured in dev and gets caught up in an upgrade plan, but it does not have a production license, what happens when you go to upgrade your prod instance?
And the answer to that is basically it's going to skip over it. So it's not going to install that plugin in production if you're not licensed for it. It'll just skip over it and go to the next action.
Yeah.
No worries about accidentally buying something.
Yeah.
Very good. And next up, what happens if I want to remove something from the upgrade plan that is, let's say I've already done one instance and I've tested it and I no longer want some part of my upgrade plan. Is that possible? Can I get in and disable that?
I want to say yes. There's an option to inactivate certain items.
Yes. Click next on the slide, and yes, there is an option to make individual parts of the upgrade plan inactive. So just update it, publish it again, it will increment the version in the app repo. And then your next test will include that updated version. Another similar question.
Sorry.
Yeah. If I start this and I determine that, hey, I'm running out of time, maybe I want to use this in a future release, can I just abandon the upgrade plan for the current patch that I'm working on? And yes, in addition to disabling that, it's the individual items, you can inactivate the entire plan.
Yeah, and you can also delete the plan. So if you delete the plan and then you go to recreate it, it will just regenerate.
We'll just, yep, you can see, you'll see it too. It'll gone and it'll populate a new one.
Very good. I like this question. What if there's a newer version of the app that already got promoted up to prod? So let's say you have a custom app that's on 3.1. That's in your upgrade plan. You're testing in test, pre-prod, and but then you have an emergency change and you have to push 3.2 up to prod real quick. But your upgrade plan, so 3.2 just goes straight to prod, and then 3.1 is part of your upgrade plan. What's going to happen when it goes to upgrade the upgrade plan? Yes, just like a plugin or
skip over it.
Yeah, I think the important thing here is that it will gracefully skip over it and proceed with the rest of the plan. And we do have one more Q&A coming in. I think we have some time to do one more question here.
Yeah, sure.
The question is, if we start building an upgrade plan and we're on upgrading to Utah patch 0, but then a new patch comes out and we decide that we want to upgrade to Utah patch 1, and we already have had some things in the upgrade plan, can we change our upgrade plan to the new patch? And so I think Paige had the most experience with regenerating that building an upgrade plan. I'm not sure, would that translate if we upgraded the builder instance to a new patch?
I wouldn't think so. Yeah, I would not think so. Because it's basically capturing your skipped updates in if you ever look at it, the history or the upgrade history record. When you look at that record, it's got a bunch of skipped records down below that are matched up with that particular version. So I don't believe it would do that.
I agree.
There it is, right there.
From what I've read.
So in that case, you would close out the previous upgrade plan and do a new plan for the new patch, right?
Well, yeah, and so each time you go in and you build a plan, it's going to build it based on, the version that you're trying to upgrade to. So if you have an old one in there, it's just going to create you a new one for, Utah patch 1.
All right. I think we have many questions answered. We will have more questions down the line. At any rate, I want to wrap this up. So first of all, again, thank you so much. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Jarod. And thank you, Miguel, for diving into this topic, preparing this presentation and taking us through the upgrade process and how it will change once you start using upgrade plans. I can see that this product can have a great effect on our customers. As I said, the next Academy will be in 2 weeks. We will be going through all of the amazing new things that are new in the Utah release for the Now platform. So be sure to join us again if you haven't signed up yet. The session will go back to the regular schedule, so it'll be 6 p.m. in CEST, then Central European Summertime. It will be 12, I think, noon Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific. So I look forward to see you all again. As I said, thank you everybody for joining. This was a very interesting session, and I hope to see you again. Thank you, everybody.
And you guys at Knowledge, we're all going to be there. So feel free to stop us, talk to us, ask us questions, right? That's what we're there for. So if you guys go to Knowledge, we'll be there.
Yes, the times that I won't be in sessions actively being a speaker, you can find me at the platform section that is in the center of the show floor. So you will likely find me somewhere either in the platform area or the Creator Con area. I would love to speak to you. So find us at Knowledge. That would be awesome. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate it.